Hey everybody, Mike Steele here with Barbecue Champs Academy special edition here on Thursday night. I'm glad that we are able to bring this podcast to you, and I hope that we have quite a few folks joining us. I know it's a little bit off from our regular Tuesday night edition, but this one required special attention with Jimmy hitting a perfect 254.5 score this weekend. In the SCA. So we could not wait another week, and I've already got some big news to announce for next Tuesday's podcast, and that was the reason we had to get this one moved in before that, because if I waited another week after that, it was just going to be too long, and we really wanted to give him the spotlight. So I see 10, 12 people already coming in. If you would, pop in, let us know who you are, let us know where you're from, just like this big guy here, Mr. Rass. Hey, brother, how are you doing? I'm glad that you're with us. Hey, Mike, hi again. Got our guy, Jimmy. This will be fun. Yes, it will. Y'all be nice to him now. He said sometimes y'all can be a very rowdy bunch up there, so be nice. I can't put you in timeout, so that's the only bad thing. Ron, thank you for joining us from Delaware. Emlyn, thank you for joining us from Marietta, Ohio. Ron, thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. Yeah, y'all come in like this. Let us know that you are here. We'd like to see where you're from, so make a post and let us know. All right, we got Mr. Rick Manzi. Thank you, Rick, for being here, the cooking beast of the East. Oh, that's a great title right there. I'm sure he's probably got that plastered on a shirt somewhere, or at least on the back of his trailer, and if he doesn't, you might want to charge him a little bit of money for that slogan. So, RJ, thank you for being here tonight. Yes, I'm doing well. I'm excited to see how many folks we're going to have on a Thursday night. I see we got 23,000 already on, so keep it going. We got it rolling. Who else we got? Hey, Matt, appreciate you being here from Massachusetts, so see if I can get that right. Jeffrey, we thank you for being here. Jeffrey and Grace from North Carolina, thank you for joining us. Oh, man, they are rolling in up to 28,000. Thank you. Let's see, who else we got? Scott, appreciate you joining us tonight. Susan, thank you for being here from Floyd, Virginia. That's awesome. Stephen Noble, here to watch one of the best friends in SCA. He deserves this. Yes, he does. And we really wanted to get him on. That was our goal. I was trying to reach out to him, and he just works on Sunday through Wednesday, and he couldn't get off in time to do this, but he said, I'm available Thursday, and I was like, we're going to make it work then. And I'm glad we got a lot of folks showing up. Already got 30 folks on, and that's a pretty good number for a Thursday night, so we appreciate everybody joining us. John, thank you for being here with us. I know you think he was on our Tuesday podcast as well. Jeffrey, thank you for being here. Tyler, appreciate you being here, man. Jimmy's getting a lot of shout outs down here. Gary, appreciate you being here from Pennsylvania. My ass is still sore from that whooping. So, yeah, at least, Gary, if you get beat, you probably don't mind getting beat, and it took a perfect score to beat you. That's what you can always tell somebody. So, Mark, appreciate you joining us from Tuscaloosa, Oklahoma. Let's see who else we got here. And watching from Canada, see Jimmy Miller. Man, we've got them from Canada. I think this may be our first time. We appreciate y'all being here. And join us on Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Central. We have a lot of them. We have them from, we got Canada. We have Australia in the house. And we are coast to coast. And we really do appreciate our loyal listeners being with us week in and week out. Tyler, thank you for being with us tonight. Who else we got? Lindsay, all the way from Connecticut. Appreciate you joining us tonight. Aaron and Tegan from Smithfield. Jimmy is an honorary North Carolinian. That's awesome. All right, we got folks steadily pouring in. We appreciate everybody shouting out where you're from. Terry and Steph from the road. All right, probably doing a little traveling. Appreciate you taking the time to watch us as you're going down the road. Be safe. Teresa from Floyd, Virginia, thank you for joining us. Well, there's Miss Angel. Super proud of Jimmy. Thank you for joining us tonight, Angel. Todd, thank you for being with us. Man, we got a lot of folks coming in here. This is awesome. Darren, we appreciate you being with us tonight. Mr. James Dotson, brother, appreciate you joining us tonight. I didn't know if you was going to be able to make it or not, but glad you were with us. I think the new hashtag, James, just so you want to know, is Free James. I don't know if you caught the very tail end, the last second of Gordon, but I think we're going to probably have to start putting it in all that post. He's wanting to free you from jail when you get put in timeouts. So new hashtag for you, James, is going to be Free James. We appreciate you being with us. Paul, Captain Blue Barbecue, thank you for being with us. Who else we got? Stephanie, thank you for joining us tonight. Michelle, yeah, Jimmy, man, everybody's got Jimmy's name rolling. Michael Sanderson, appreciate you joining us tonight. There's Miss Susan. Great to have you with us as well. Way to go, Jimmy. We're all so proud of you. James, thank you. From Texas, Tawanka. I know where it's at. It's over there by Terrell. Tawanka. I can't remember how to say it. Can't hardly see the print. I got to get me some new cheaters. Gordon, I figured Gordon would join us. Gordon, you're way late, man. I can't believe you wasn't the first one. Stephen Peacock, thank you for joining us tonight as well. And let's see. Yep, I already told him about it. Hashtag Free James. I went into great detail about how the last words was on our show on the other night. You was like, Free James. So anyway, oh man, we got quite a few folks on here. It's going to be a great show tonight. And laughing loud, well, I didn't want to put it up there. I'm going to remember how to say that. I bought a jet ski over there one time, and I was like, that was the tongue-tiedest deadgum town to sit up there and say. I was like, man, I'm glad I don't live here. I never would get it right. It's kind of like Massachusetts. You better really get that in there. So, oh, goodness gracious. And always stump me up, throw it out there. I'll make a fool of myself trying to say it. Avondale, Arizona, thank you for joining us. Let's see what Rick has. Jimmy, I want royalties for your new nickname, the Cookie Piece from the East. I kind of had a feeling that was going to come. It just rolls too good. Oh, we got Miss Brenda down here. Nice to see you again, Mike. Kara had a choir concert tonight. Just got done, but just want to get in, just walking in to get dinner. I'll get it right here in a minute. I promise you I haven't been drinking. Hopefully we can stay on. Hope y'all can too, and I am really glad that we got a chance to have y'all on Monday. Kara is just so well loved in the SCA, and I'm glad y'all took the time to come in and join us. Let's see, need to razz up a beast pick. There we go. Yes, you do. Need to razz up a beast pick. Absolutely you do. So he can really do up some great things with some photography. We've seen it over and over again. Well, we got about 42 folks on here. That is really amazing. I'm really excited that everybody took the time out of your schedule. This show may not go quite an hour, so we're going to kind of get to some points. We got some great things that we were kind of talking about off stage just a second ago, so I think you're going to sit around. We're going to see if we can make this, thank you, Tawakani. Something like that. I think I got it. Tawakani. Thank you. I knew it was something like the knee, but I couldn't remember how it was said. Appreciate it, Stephen. Help a brother out. Throw him a lifeline. So anyway, so we're going to have a great show. We got 43 folks on here. Hey guys, I forgot to do the Tuesday the Tuesday free class giveaway. I promise you I won't forget it tonight. And if we get toward the end and I'm start talking about that, throw it out there. Hey, get the free class in here. And I promise you, I'll remember we got a great one to see if everybody can get it right. So real quick, we want to thank all of our partners, the barbecue store, Gunnar Wilhelm Knives, Daigle Barbecue Sauces. Love all those guys. Raider Red Meat. They're a huge part of Barbecue Champs. We couldn't do what we have to do without them. So be sure to support them if you're needing anything. Well, without further ado, it's time to bring on the man, the myth, and the woman behind the beast. Mr. Jimmy and Aaron was stroked out cooking team. Looks like you got a lot of fans in the house, guys. Appreciate y'all being here.
Thank you, and thank everybody for coming on.
Yeah, it looks like you got a pretty good following, and a lot of folks are Jimmy in it. And I read some of the comments that I had seen, like, is Aaron going to be on the show? And I was like, I don't know if Aaron's going to be on the show. Then he texted me, hey, is it all right for Aaron to be on here? I was like, absolutely. She's probably the one that's all behind the brains behind all this. So anyway, well, tell me a little bit about Mr. Jimmy. I mean, we've obviously seen you had an outrageously good weekend. For those of you that, were not privy to the internet this weekend, but Jimmy, he went out and showed up and showed out and had a pretty good weekend, had a perfect 254.5 score in SCA competition up in Pennsylvania, wasn't it?
Catawissa, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, in Pennsylvania, which is I think, and there's a ton of SCA cookers on here. We're thinking it's probably 9 or 10. So, and remember, there was another cook this weekend we was trying to get on. I think it was Mark. We was trying to get him on. He had a perfect score as well in the
Doug
SCA
Hoffman.
competition.
Doug Homan.
Doug, that's it. Doug did. I don't know why I said Mark. Doug. And he had a perfect score. And we was trying to get him on as well. He just could not do it. I sent him a message the other day, and he said, man, I'm traveling. There's no way I can get off, pull over and do anything. And I was like, man, just congratulations, right? So I don't know if anybody knows how many it is. There was 2 this weekend between you and Doug. I'm thinking that's probably got to be close to 10, and that's quite accomplishment to be able to do something like that for 8 years that the SCA's been around. Only 10 to do it, and you're one of them. So 9 or 10, whatever the number may be. So tell us a little bit about you. How did you get into cooking when you was a kid? Did you just love cooking? Is it something you've always done? And what did you like cooking steaks? And then how did you transfer from that into SCA competition?
So when I was young, I was always in the kitchen with my mom. She's a full Italian lady, so she's one of those scratch made cooks.
Yeah.
She don't like to do it anymore.
Right.
That's how I grew up. It wasn't, if we were making pasta, she was making it. So that, I mean, it was just a natural thing for us to make whatever from scratch.
Right.
That's more of what I was used to, whether I didn't understand the difference back then, but I was just always enjoyed it. So, always wanted to be around my mom when I was young. And that's how I spent time with her. We did a lot of cooking for different things and different events, and the holidays were big. As I grew up, I just continued that passion for wanting to cook, and I liked the science behind it. I liked figuring things out, and kind of just trying different things, and not just going to the store and getting something out of a box. I wanted to create things. So we do a lot of sausage making and things like that. So we like to put the thought into developing different things. So always like to do it. Obviously, I wasn't ever nearly as good as I could be now, but I know when I started barbecue side, I was probably like in my late teenager years, and we would have a party or something, and I would be the one cooking for all the events. But I can remember picking up a corned beef brisket in the frozen meat section and going to cook it like a regular brisket.
Right.
Thinking that.
Man, look at the smoke ring I got on this thing.
All my friends thought it was great, so I kept doing it until the internet really came alive, and I was like, "What the heck am I doing?" So I just always liked the smoking meats and different things like that. And then I guess I don't know how old I was or what year it was, but I started going to Lancaster Barbecue Supply, and that's really where like the turning point for me was. Tom and Michelle do classes there, so I decided like this is cool. Like I could learn something, I could figure something out, get my hands on, and obviously taste tests. It's good to always have food when you're going to a class. So I started doing them, and that's what I think stands out to me. Tom teaching those classes, it really made a difference for me, and I got to see things take place. That's when the internet was starting to get big with different events and stuff, and you can kind of follow recipes and things like that. But he put a new perspective on it that I could actually see it and try it, and then developed a friendship with them, and then started just going in there all the time. They probably got sick of me on multiple occasions.
Right.
I'll just go in there and talk to them and ask about recipes, and that's how I bought all my smokers. I didn't want to spend money, but Tom would be like, "Oh, go buy a brisket, and I'll come in and I'll show you how to use this smoker." Well, sure enough, it was a sales pitch.
Right. Right.
But it was, he would teach me how to use things, and I just continued to be invested in it. Then as I developed a relationship with them, I think it was Michelle that said one day, "Why don't you come and cook our SCA event?" And hopefully, like most other people, I was like, I can cook a pretty darn good steak.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I can do this.
Yeah.
But my God, I did not have any clue what I was getting myself into.
Right.
We made a joke about my two goals. My two goals that day were not to come in last place and to beat Tom. Well, I didn't beat Tom that day, but I did not come in last.
Didn't come in last. Okay.
But after that event, I did a couple that first year, and I was locked in.
Right.
Brett and Ken did something in my brain that just locked me into the competition side of things, and I've never looked back. I love it. I just started doing KCBS a little bit. I live for doing the competition side of things now.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So, Aaron, how did you? What's been your role in all of this?
I'm behind the scenes. I'm just the timekeeper. I keep them in line.
Okay. Is he hard to keep in line?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay. Do you
He
have to
likes
send?
to talk.
Okay, okay, yeah, I understand that. Has it ever gotten to the point where you're telling him it's time to get it in the box and you got to go?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. James, if you're still with us, you notice how that worked. You don't wait to the last second to get it in the box and go, and he's the one putting it in the box. So you have to have a good timekeeper that says you can't hand.
Normally it's yelling across the parking lot, hey, do you want to cook a steak?
That's great. Last second deal. Oh goodness! So you kind of keeping him straight, making sure everything's lined out, making it easy because it is very very difficult. I would think to do ancillaries and steak by yourself. I know Will Collier was doing that a couple years ago, and man, it was hard on him. He's like, man, this is just because you're focused on one, and it's hard to when you're doing it by yourself. I got to get that right, but at the same time, steak's important too, and it can take away. Have you ever got to the point to where you think your ancillaries is sometimes almost getting in the way of your steak cook?
Yeah, for sure. Last year, I was dabbling in. I did a bunch of ancillaries, but I didn't do nearly as much as I did this year. And I just had fun with it. But there was many competitions where I was like, why the heck am I doing this? And I'm missing steps because I'm late on an ancillary. But at the same time, it always energized me to like I like that stress. Not it's a double-edged sword, but at the end of the day, I enjoy that passion and that stress that brings with it because like I just like to stay moving and I like to try to challenge myself.
Right.
Yeah, it gets in the way, but I still like that. I still like that push. I think the big turning point for me for my consistency and really getting better with the timeline with and doing ancillary and stake at the same time is when Erin wasn't always invested as she is today, but now she's full on invested into this. She's very much paying attention to points. She's paying attention to who's going where.
Yeah.
When when she was able to kind of develop that process and understand what I needed from her, and I've heard other cooks say this too, but it really is an important step where she knew what her role was and I knew what my role was, and we kind
Right.
of just fit together. It
Right.
wasn't. We used to fight all the time because she really wasn't invested in it, but
Right.
I would try to get her invested into it. But she made that turning point, and once she did that, I think that's really where we came together as a unit in this, and it's been a lot of fun because now she keeps me on
And
pace. I'm a social person. I'm out walking around
right.
talking to people. That's the biggest part that I enjoy.
Yeah.
But obviously, time is of the essence, and she knows how to keep that timeline. So
There you
it's
go. So
it's been a
she's
lot.
she's the whip cracker.
She
I
is.
am.
She's the one. Yeah, hey, crack the whip. Hey,
A
it's
lot of
time.
people mess with them. They mess with this charcoal. They have timers going off. I fix the charcoal. I say, listen to my voice.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. Always listen to her because she will
Yes.
always be right. Never argue with her.
I try
So,
not to.
100.
uh,
Yeah.
that's hilarious. So I was reading through some of your posts, and I don't know if you're delusional, insane, or just crazy, but 2,200 miles in one weekend,
Yeah,
like
that was definitely delusional.
that literally blew my mind. Like, there's no way I would drive 2,200 miles doing cook-offs. So, tell us the roundabout that entailed.
This year, from the beginning, I started off doing fairly well here and there, not as consistent as I am currently, but I started doing pretty well, and I got myself up in them points. And I mean, the SCA knows what they're doing. They know they put their name on Facebook, and you start seeing that time and time again. You start to really pay attention to that. So obviously, that's what I was doing, and it just got locked in my head, and I started saying like, well, where can we go to get more points? Where can we do this? And I was fully invested into it as the season progressed. And as we got to a little bit, midway and three-quarters of the way, I was like, I can do this. I can if I put my heart to it, I can do this, and her wallet to it. Um, but I just became fully invested in trying to say like, let me have this year to say I gave it all I can and try. So here comes Arkansas. I had no idea that I would ever do this, and I'm not a traveler at all.
Right,
Before
right,
this year, I could care less about traveling the world. It's not my thing. But it's a passion that I have to be competitive in this, and that's what you have to do.
yeah,
I just really buckled down and said, do I want to do this or not? And I said, yeah, let's do it. So sure enough, the first night we drove 16 and a half hours straight through.
Good gosh.
And then
on Thanksgiving Day.
On Thanksgiving Day.
Woo!
And I never knew that the traffic was so bad on the Sunday after Thanksgiving. So
oh yeah,
18 and a half, 19 hours straight back home.
So where did you drive? So let's you drove from where to Arkansas? So
Columbia, Pennsylvania,
to Arkansas.
Arkansas, yeah. Carlisle, Arkansas.
Carlisle, Arkansas. Okay.
Yep.
And how far was that? A little over 1,100 miles?
It's about just under 1,100 miles, yeah.
And then drove back. Oh, my goodness gracious.
It took 2 days and then came back. Yeah. I got a first place ancillary there and not really, it didn't really do well in the stakes, but that's when I started messaging some people and talking through some things. And I said, what did I do differently here? Because I mean, I believe wholeheartedly that flavor profiles don't always travel well.
It not down here. It doesn't. Yeah, it's completely different down here than it is up there, and I see it with a lot of our cooks that we have, and they'll say, hey, this flavor profile don't work here, and this one does, and blah blah blah. So yeah, it's a learning curve, and it's an expensive learning curve when you have to drive that far to go, and like get hammered, and it's just like, wow, got to learn this. So
I took it as a challenge. I took it as an opportunity to say, like, what am I doing in my profile that was working for me, and how do I adapt? And I think that's what I've started learning this year more and more, because I think it's what makes a good cook. You can pick one thing and make it good, but not everybody likes it in all parts of the world. So
right.
When people know how to adapt, that says a lot about a person.
Absolutely. Steve says, Jimmy, what he's done this year in both steak and ancillary is amazing. Doing both is extremely difficult, and he has shined. Absolutely. I mean, that is just crazy to be able to do the steak and ancillary. And I want to kind of roll back up here to Raz's comment here. So Jimmy pretty sure is the first to get a perfect in both steak and ancillary. Well, let's talk about the ancillary. Now, I know you've had perfect score in ancillary and perfect score in steak, so maybe that's probably what he's talking about. But what the bummer was, you cooked ancillary that day that you had the perfect score in steak, so you had a first place in steak with a perfect score, and you had a first place in ancillary with a score that was how far off of perfect?
0.1.
0.1. So we need to find the judge that gave him 1/10 of a point away from perfect in ancillary, and he would have been a perfect that day in ancillary and steak, which has never been done. That it probably never would be done. So, wow, that is, man, I bet that was one heck of a weekend. I mean,
it was. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that the spotlight moved into Kira. I think, as I mentioned to you earlier, we were Team Kira as we were driving to Catawissa, and I talked to her when I got there a little bit, and I said, I've seen your practice steaks. Like, she puts on a good show in her Facebook post, and I can see what I can see. And like you said earlier, if she nailed taste and done this, she's going to be up there. And
she's going to be up there. Yeah.
As we're driving, I told her, I said, I swear, I don't know what it is. It's in my brain that she's going to be in top 3.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I got confused when I got that perfect score, because I was just focused on her. I wanted to see her reaction. And then when I got up there, I tried to take the attention off of me and bring her right back up there and hand her that ticket. It was cool.
Man, that's so awesome. That's the SCA family, I mean, and I think they said the whole crowd erupted when she got a call,
Sure did.
And that is so awesome. I mean, here's a girl, 14 years old, cooking her first ever adult division. I think she said she only cooked 2 kids. Okay. And then to roll up there and I'm like you. I mean, Gordon posted, I think it was on Friday, that Kara's going to, cook her first adult division deal, and I was like, that girl's fixing to kill it, man. Yeah. I was like, I've seen her pictures. I said, I hope you're not cooking against her. And he started laughing. I said, no, I'm serious. I hope you're not cooking against her, because she's going to definitely beat you. And I said, I don't know if Brenda's cooking or not, but if you're cooking, you're beat. And I said, I really think she's got a good shot of winning this thing. I said, I really think she's going to. And when he posted a 254.2, I was like, a second place, like, oh my God, what beat her? And he said, Jimmy had a perfect 254.5. And I was like, oh my gosh. I said, well, she can always say, I got beat by a perfect score, or it took a perfect score to beat me. So anyway, but yeah, I'm sure that was really cool for you to see, and be part of that first time for her, and yet at the same time, you didn't even realize you had a perfect score. So, yeah, that's.
I had the ancillary win was cool as well. As I mentioned earlier, I started dabbling in the KCBS side of things last year and have a little bit of success there, and that's been super fun. And I know the people that do the SCA that have done KCBS, but I'm starting to branch out and learn some people that haven't, that don't do the SCA, just KCBS
Right.
side. So that's been fun. And Bill Gillespie was there, so I got to talk to him from Smoking Hogs Barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, I got to hand my gold and take it down to him that day too.
Oh, that's freaking awesome. Okay. That's awesome. Well, what was the ancillary? Jeff said anything Christmas dessert. Is that what it was?
It was, yeah.
Okay, anything Christmas dessert. So what did you cook? If you want to share, you can. If not, no biggie.
So it was against my better judgment because I try to stay away from cheesecake because I feel like cheesecake wins every single event known to mankind. So,
Yep.
And I don't even like cheesecake. I don't know how to cook it. If there's anybody on this podcast right now that knows is Michelle, I ask her like 7,000 questions about how to cook cheesecakes. Her cheesecakes are always the creamiest cheesecakes I've ever tried in my life, and I don't understand how to achieve it.
Right.
So I talked to her a lot about it. So I made a cheesecake just to try it, and I messed it all up. So I decided to change it. I made miniature cheesecakes, and I made a homemade sugar cookie crust. And then I made a homemade caramel sauce that was a caramel bourbon sauce with pecans. And then I topped it with peppermint bark.
Jeez.
Jeez.
Come into play because we almost forgot the bourbon.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So
wow.
I'm pretty confident that the sauce is what saved me.
Yeah.
And it was the first time ever doing it. And I've watched a lot of videos, and there's a little bit of a technique there, and I think I did pretty well on that. So there was lots of ancillaries that I felt were far better, but I think my sauce is what helped me out a lot there.
Jeff Campbell just said it was the sauce! Exclamation.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's pretty dang cool. Wow. That is flipping awesome. So yeah, to be able to do both of them is nothing easy about that. And if anybody's got any questions for Aaron or Jimmy, pop them in here, because I'm sure Aaron. I tell you what, when we got Jimmy in the hot seat, let's take him off the hot seat a little bit.
Oh, jeez.
Tell us some of the most fun stories that you have that we may not know that we may or we may not know about Jimmy.
I don't know. Oh, put me on the spot.
Well, we can get some dirt on him. It's fine.
Well, in Catawissa, I actually had to go find him to cook the steak. He disappeared into our French trailer, and it was time,
right?
And I couldn't find him. I'm like, "What? Where is he?"
Anybody seen Jimmy? Paging Jimmy? Wow. What about some of the travel stuff? So, if I told my wife, "Hey, baby, we're going to go to a barbecue competition. It's 16 hours away," she would look at me and she would probably tell me, "You have lost your mind if you think I'm going to go."
He talked me into it, though. We were supposed to stop halfway through because we didn't cook until Friday afternoon. So we were going to stop Thursday. I was like, okay, we can split it up. He did take me to Florida. 2 years ago, we did that 17-hour trip, and one time he said never again. I believed him.
Here we are.
That was my first mistake.
Yeah.
So then we're off to Arkansas. We were supposed to stop, and he was just like, let's just keep going. Let's keep going. So we got to Arkansas at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And my wife is not
less fun.
I'm talking about my organization.
I can't even. He's very OCD. If this water bottle's here, it should be here.
Oh my gosh.
Everything has its place.
Oh my gosh. My wife.
Don't mess with it.
My wife is OCD. When we first got married, I'm in the bathroom. I've got my toothbrush. I got my toothpaste. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing everything lined up over here. And I'm like, man, who comes in here messing with my stuff? This is the way I want it. And I'm like, what are you doing? Well, it's got to be like this. I said, this is my side of the sink. That's your sink over there. This is mine. Leave my stuff alone. And I would walk out, and I would come back through there an hour later, and all the stuff So I literally got to the point to where I would walk in the kitchen and I would move everything around. I would just move it all around and walk out the door. Didn't he? I mean, she's asleep. She wakes up in the morning like, oh, what the heck? It's like, hey, you ain't got to be perfect, you know. Well, put it back where it goes. It's like, you put it back where it goes. That's hard. I'll tell you.
I'll unpack stuff and just lay it down. He can put it where he wants it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to live with somebody that's super OCD. Like everything's got to be perfect.
It's really only with this cooking stuff
That's
at an event, so
okay.
it's not
just
too hard to deal with.
Okay, at least that part's good because man, when it's full time, it's like wow. So,
I know I can be a lot to handle.
That's all right. But that's all right. See, you're doing good because you have somebody keeping you straight. That's what it comes down to. Let's see. Tyler put Aaron whips my door open. Where's Jimmy? So
that's whose trailer I was standing.
That's where you was at. That is hilarious. Let's see what
the thing, though. I know I can relax, I can hang out, and I can talk, and I know she's going to get me.
She's going to find you somewhere. Aaron, maybe for a consolation prize for having to go through everything, I need to send you one of the air tags, and you can just slip it in his collar, and you can track him and find out where he is.
Perfect.
Better yet, Aaron, what we could do, and I may buy this for you if you would like. They got these little shock collar for dogs. They got them just about the right size for a wrist, and you can put that on him, and they work like I don't know, 1,500 feet away. Yeah, you should be covered. You can give him a little beep, and if he don't respond to that, then you can give him a little buzz, and if he ain't back in that, then you can hit the shock button. I promise you, he'll be back. He'll come back. So that may be the new thing that you got to get. So, oh goodness gracious. Let's see. Hated that trip to Florida. That was Scott. Catherine says that Mr. Perfect is my favorite competitor. That's awesome.
He's one of mine.
Yeah, Catherine, thank you for being here and giving compliments. Aaron, my favorite story is the flooded hotel room. Oh, do tell.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh,
yeah. Well, yeah, we were in North Carolina. Went to bed. Happened to get up to pee. He got up and he's like, "Did you spill something on the floor?" And I said, "No." He's like, "Well, you just walked through a puddle of water." I said, "I didn't." The entire hotel flooded.
Yeah, it was like
we were evacuated.
In our hotel room, it was at least an inch of water, and she went right to pee, went right back to bed, and I got up to pee, and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
You didn't notice it was
wet?
There's
water pouring down the walls through the bathroom, and
gosh,
she went right back to bed.
Well, you thought it was coming from the sink, and I said, "I think it's coming from outside under the door."
So 12 o'clock at night, we were evacuated from our hotel in North Carolina, and then we had to go find another hotel, sleep for 2 hours, and then get up and cook a comp that day.
Oh my goodness. Steve put on here, watch out for the pea mud in North Carolina, my brother. So
we'll have to leave that story for Steve.
Yeah. Let's see. For y'all, driving to North Carolina is like driving to town. So, yeah. Who else?
North Carolina has been one of my favorite places this year for sure.
Yeah.
I've grown a whole new family there. And
that's awesome. How far of a drive is that? Pennsylvania, North Carolina. It's got to be what, 7 or 8 hours?
6 hours.
6 hours. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a day trip.
Say again?
It's a day trip.
It's a day trip. Yeah.
It's an easy trip.
Yeah. Carrie and Aaron is my bestie. So. And let's see, Jeff, that's hysterical. Yeah, let's see, cattle prod. That's it. Poke him, give him a little shot. So, let's see what Terry has to say. Jimmy is known and loved all over the country. Hardly anywhere we go where someone is not telling me about their trash talk with or delivering trash talk long distance for him. Makes it fun as his comments are usually pretty funny and always good-natured. Yeah, you know what? There's got to be a little bit of trash talk. So,
that's the name of my game. I love to have fun. Catherine's my favorite story there. There's been several competitions where she'll walk and somebody will say like, "Oh my gosh, she's so good." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not a big fan of her." And they're all like, "What?" And I've always been waiting for somebody to go back to her and tell her that I was talking trash on her because I do it right to her, and we do it all week long in Facebook messages, and
that is so funny.
She's been a big support to the ancillary side as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Tim, 8.5 hours for him. Let's see, somebody else has got maybe 10, depending on how many stops I can make. So, hey, there's the champ right now, or the points leader right now, Elizabeth. Thank you for being with us.
She's the crazy one.
Yeah, she's the crazy one. She's driving everywhere. So, I'd hate to know.
2,200 miles is nothing for her.
Yeah, I'd hate to know how many miles. Elizabeth, how many miles have you driven this year, sweetie? So let's see. It's quick, 6 hours minus the 195 traffic in DC, Virginia. Yeah, it's just crazy. Talk about how many perfect ancillary scores you've gotten this year, Jimmy. How many have you got?
3.
You've got 3 perfect.
Almost had 4, but I've had 3 so far.
Wow. In 1 year, that is stinking amazing. So
that was, as Aaron said earlier, that was my big goal this year, is to try to get 1 on each. And I didn't think it was even possible, but
you did. I would have. I know there's no doubt you're probably the only one I know you're the only ones ever had a perfect score in ancillary and stake now, especially in the same year. So that's a pretty cool deal. Yeah, that's really cool. Jimmy's one of the best. Belafonte is the best sidekick, CEO, boss lady. Okay.
That's my hometown,
Belafonte, okay.
Yep.
She said she's put on a few miles. That's probably the best. She probably doesn't want to add it up because she'll probably pass out. So the best way to do it, I've driven a few miles. So
she called it out at Catawissa, and it was about 100,000.
Dude, what? 100,000 miles this year. Holy freaking cow. Man, that is insane. Beat me in Lancaster on a perfect score. Wow.
If anybody,
crazy.
Yeah. Jeff, I think you had 0.2 away, right?
That is crazy. All right, so we're going to, before I forget, and we still got a lot of folks on here. We got 43,000 folks on tonight. Let's go and hit up the backyard barbecue giveaway. We're giving away 20 of our backyard barbecue classes. I said at the end of the show we're going to do it now because we're going to be closing out here in a few minutes. So not too soon, but I'm going to do it in the middle while we got a lot of folks on here. So here's going to be the trivia question, and you'll get access to our 20 backyard barbecue recipes. If you have an account with us, all I got to do is just add it to your account. If you don't have an account with us, I just need your first and last name and an email address. I'll create the account, and then I'll put the classes in it. Now, we have a lot of people that think they answer first. Your stuff is always going to be a little bit delayed with my stuff coming in real time because this is the streaming place where it's going out. So the first person that I see that gets the answer correctly is going to be the person to win, not what you see across your screen. I have this happen all the time. I had one here a couple weeks ago, and she's like, I answered it first. You was like 15 down. You may have seen it right after his. It wasn't even close. So this guy answered it, and there was nobody else, and it was like 10 seconds later for the next person, and she was 20 seconds behind. So I'm going to ask the question. The first person that I see that comes across my screen that gets it right is going to win. So everybody's ready. Here we go. 20 backyard barbecue recipes. And it should not take nobody long to get it. Who's the first person in SCA history to get a perfect score? Who's the first person in SCA history to get a perfect score? Oh, there we go. All right, first one. All right, I don't know. First one that came across, Angela Todd. So, Angel Todd. I don't know why I say Angela. Angel Todd got it. First one. John, you was right behind. Close. They're all right there, literally a 738, a 738, a 738, a 738. And y'all may not see it that way. I don't care. The first one is Angel Todd. So, Angel, you got it. If you've got a class from us, I don't know if you have, so I don't think so. So if that's the case, you can email me at bbqchampions@gmail.com. bbqchampions, plural, @gmail.com. I've got your first and last name, and I'll have your email address when you email me. And then I'll create an account. Now, if you've got somebody that's got an account that you want it to go into, a husband, maybe, I can put it in. I can put it in that account as well if you want that, and put that in the email. and we can do that. So there we go. All right. Angel was the first one to get it. A whole bunch of them came in right after that. Tons of people correct answer. Boom. I love it. Matt Everson. There we go. Sandy Brown, Lindsay. Yeah, there we go. All right. Well, it's all everybody. I still got folks still coming in. Of course, it's a few seconds after, but I have taken one SCA. Have you bought a SCA class from us, Angel? If you have, give me a thumbs up. Let me know, and then I'll know you've got an account. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4. So anyway, and if not, I'll look and find out. So anyway, all right. Well, she's going to get our 20 championship backyard barbecue classes. That's so cool. So I figured I would make something easy that everybody would have to fight to get. So I had another question I wanted to do, and it was right before. Yes, I bought one. I believe the account is in my dad's name. Okay. Put down what your dad's name is. I'll look for it. Give me his first and last name. I'll take a picture, and I will add it to his account. So pop his name up, and I'll have that. Yeah, one of my other questions was, and it was about 2 months before Matt got a perfect score. And there was somebody that got a score, and if I recall, it was 1/10 away. It was a 254.4. And I'm almost positive. All right, I got the picture. Thank you. I'll get that in. I thought it was Todd. I was just wanted to make sure. There was one person that got it. It was 2 months before Matt, and he had just taken Matt Overson's class, and it was his third cook-off, and I think he had a 254.4. He missed it by 1/10 of a point. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do another giveaway, because I forgot to give it away on Tuesday. And I think he had the highest score ever. I think it was 1/10 of a point away. If you can tell me that steak cooker's name, I'll give it to the first person that gets it once again. So it was a couple months before Matt had the highest score ever recorded. And if I recall, it was a 254.4. So let's see who's going to get it. So anyway, and we'll just let it roll until we get ready to get done with this, and I'll just keep watching. This one won't be so fast. Everybody's going to have to kind of look at it. But and I could be wrong. I hope I'm not, but I remember Matt telling me, and it was right before. So I'm going to have to go with the answer that I got, because I remember Matt telling me that, and we was like, and I actually had him on our podcast. So we'll find out. Anyway, and if I'm wrong, oh well, sue me. This is who I'm going with. So I'm going off what Matt told me, and we had him on our podcast. So anyway, all right, this is going to be a lot of fun. So, well, Jimmy and Aaron, it looks like y'all have had a blast doing this. How many years have you been doing this?
I started in 2020, and I think I did 5 or 6 total. So 2021 was like the first year, and I did 20 some. So I would consider it to be my third full year doing it.
Third full year.
I think I did 20 or 24 the first year. Then I did 54 the next year, and now we're up to 64 or 65, something like that.
I got you. That is awesome.
This is definitely the year where we went.
I got you.
Feet in for sure.
Yeah. That's a great accomplishment to do something like that.
Thank you.
So it really, really is. And it's so awesome to see y'all having a lot of fun as a boyfriend and girlfriend out just having a great time. You know, there's nothing like being with our barbecue family or our SCA family, as y'all call it. And it's just fun, you know. So
yeah, we've been together for a while, and I think that this is what has finally made us like we have a strong connection over the competition side of things. So
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's nice. Are you employed, self-employed, or you work for somebody?
I work for Starbucks Distribution.
Okay, that's good. So that's good. Gives you a chance to get out and still be able to go and do these, because it's not easy when you got a full-time job and trying to do that as well. So that is really, really cool. All right. Well, I see nobody has got the answer, so I want y'all to go back and look at it. But the person that I recall, I haven't seen him cooking now, is Mark Simmers. It was about a month and a half, 2 months before Matt had it. We had him on our show and I think he had a 254.4. And he was 1/10 of away from having a perfect score. And Matt called me and told me, and it was his third or fourth competition that he ever cooked. It was his first competition after taking Matt's class that he did it, and that's why I remember that. So, anyway, hopefully I'm right, and if I'm wrong, oh well, sorry. But that's all I can go by is what Matt told me, and I'm going to have to stick to that. But it was a couple months right before Matt got his perfect score. So. Well, we always like to give everybody a chance to thank your sponsors and stuff like that. So, I'm sure you've got a pretty good list, or at least maybe one or two. So, you want to take some time to thank your sponsors?
I only have a couple, and they're very important to me. And because I was never one to chase the sponsorship, I just wanted to do my thing. But as I mentioned earlier, I developed a friendship with Tom and Michelle. They have an awesome store in Lancaster called Lancaster Barbecue Supply. And just this year, they approached me and said, let's talk about this. And I was through the roof about it. So I want to thank them for getting me into it. And I always joke around that they made me broke. Because if I'm not spending money on the competition side, I'm spending money in their store, which
right.
But that's what I have a passion to do. And I really appreciate them for getting me into it
Awesome.
and sponsoring me. Yeah. And then there's a big joke in the SCA that I say BBA all the time is my sponsor, and most people know about it, but there's still a lot of people that don't know. It's just a total joke, and it's Babe's bank account.
Babe's bank account. That's awesome. Babe's bank account. Got you a sugar mama that's helping you go. So
that's right.
There's nothing wrong with that. She loves you, and y'all are having a good time doing it. So that's all that counts. Yep. Hey, I do want to. Yeah, I saw BBA pop up just a minute ago in all caps, and I didn't know what it was, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to go there, so we're going to just let it ride. All right, one quick note, everybody, and we still got a few folks. I don't want nobody to leave just yet. I got a real important announcement, and it's really special. We always like to give people the limelight that do incredibly well, just like we made a special edition for our podcast to get Jimmy and Aaron on. We feel like it's really important, but there's another young lady that we made an announcement on our Tuesday night show, and you may have seen Fox this past Tuesday, the Monday, I think it was on Monday, and you may have seen this young girl here, and I'm getting over there to it, so give me just a second. This young girl right here, this is Ray Barker, Ray Barker. And she won the Kids Holiday Edition Master Chef. Yeah. She is from Texas. She is a huge part of the barbecue community in Texas. Everybody loves little Ray Ray. She is absolutely phenomenal. And we reached out immediately to Sarah, her mom, to see if we could get her on. We had to go through a PR person. We got the approval to have her on Barbecue Champs Academy, and we're going to have this young lady on our podcast on Tuesday. We're super, super excited to have her. So everybody that's watching tonight, I hope you'll show this girl some love as well. She's 10 years old. She's an amazing, amazing chef. She's an incredible cook in the kids' queue. As a matter of fact, if you want to know, her brother won the American Royal Kids competition this past year. So some great cooks in that family. It's got to be pretty cool to be able to have, Aaron and gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Help me here. Gordon Ramsay. Goodness gracious. And the girl in the burgundy is Gordon's daughter. I don't remember her name, and I can't remember the lady's name back behind Ray that's got her hand on her. So anyway, we're going to hear all about the experience, what she's had, how she's come up through the ranks and stuff like that, cooking in barbecue competitions. She is an incredible cook, and we are super, super excited to give her the limelight, to put her on our show. And it's going to be this coming Tuesday at 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. We're going to hear all about her story coming up through the ranks, how she's cooked, what it was like being on MasterChef in front of all the cameras, cooking for Gordon Ramsay and Aaron and all those guys. I mean, that had to be a pretty cool deal at 10 years old, and she was very, very composed. So she cooked venison. She cooked deer backstrap for her protein in the finals, and I mean, if somebody had salmon, I forgot what the other kid had, and she was cooking deer backstrap, homemade biscuits and gravy. And I'm like going, and Gordon got ready to cut it. And he was, and if you've seen it, that's one thing. But if you didn't see it, he's like, so how's this going to be cooked? And she said, it should be a perfect medium. And he sliced it, and and she fried this thing. It's a perfect medium. And I was like, wow. And they took a bite of it. And I remember Gordon's comment was, most kids your ages are going to be cooking chicken tenders and you're cooking deer venison. And so anyway, so we're in talks with them as well. And you never can tell what could come from Barbecue Champs and that young girl. So we got some high hopes. We're going to really try to make her career Zoom. I told her mother, if any way, shape, or form, if there's anything that I can do to help her and get her in the spotlight, I'm here to help. So it's about giving back, and those are the future of our competitions. Her in barbecue, just like Kira at 14 years old, she's going to be hopefully maybe the future of the SCA, where she's out cooking all the time like Elizabeth and what Marissa did and everything else as she gets a little older. So who knows? Time will tell. So I really wanted to get out there and let everybody know. Join us on Tuesday, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. Aaron, thank you for being here. Miss BBA and Jimmy, thank you so much. We really do appreciate y'all taking a little time. We want to thank everybody for being with us tonight. And I'm glad that you was able to come on, and congratulations on an outstanding year that y'all have had doing what you love to do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to be our time tonight. We appreciate everybody joining us on the special edition. As we always close out our cooking classes, as we always say, y'all go out there, have a lot of fun, and smoke on.